Hi guys! I asked you guys yesterday, the day before, some sort of day. I asked you if you had any questions for a Q&A, because Q&As are fun. So here I am answering your lovely questions. First of all, have you seen or do you like American Horror Story? I haven't watched it enough, honestly. It's something I really ought to marathon. Every episode I've seen, I've been like, creepy. So yeah, I really want to see more of that. What food item lasted the longest having an obsession with since you changed from one to another? Yes, I certainly do. It's probably fried chicken. At the start of last year, I think it was like all I wanted to eat every day. I got like mad cravings and would go on late night missions for fried chicken. And that hasn't really changed that much. It's not as intense, but I will never say no to fried chicken. Where does Mr. Owl get his clothes? Yes, a lot of people don't know this. So I asked him and he said, and here is what he said. I'm an old man. I got clothes I bought when I was 18 from locally or overseas. I don't tend to shop online. I haven't bought anything for a while. I've been wearing the missus' clothes. She has better stuff and it's free. Cool. What are your top 5 favourite horror movies? You know, I don't really watch enough horror films. I like old horrors. I really like old Vincent Price films. What would be the perfect setting for your wedding? A snowy graveyard at night, but there has to be a terrifying organ involved somewhere. What is one of your favourite makeup brands? Illamasqua? I don't know what I would do without Illamasqua now. Thank you, Illamasqua, for existing. I need you in my life. Never leave me. Never leave me. What's your weirdest hobby? I don't think it's really that weird. I like hula hooping. It's not really that weird. I don't know if I have a weird hobby. How long did it take you to be as pale as you are? Or are you naturally that pale? Being a redhead, I'm pale by default. Other famous stealth gingers you might have heard of are Elvira and Razor Candy. And my hair is naturally the same colour, so I'm naturally like the same as those guys. At the same time, being a redhead often also comes with freckles by default. So I just avoid the sun. I use sunscreen, lemon-based skin lighteners to fade freckles. That DIY skin lightening thing I made in that other video, I use that all the time as well, and I have found that it has helped. But yeah, it's mostly just I'm naturally pretty pasty. People used to make fun of me for it, mostly my legs. I'd put on shorts and people would scream. My mum called them milk bottles. In fact, my mum used to say that before I started wearing eye makeup, my mum used to say that my eyes looked like piss holes in the snow. Thanks, mum. Where do you get Gothic decor from? Anywhere I can find it. Online from eBay, or some things I'll customise or make myself, or just normal stuff that I find around that might like look gothic in the right context. You can't see. There's this mirror behind me and I bought that recently and it was a kind of rustic white looking mirror, so I just painted it black. Now it looks totally cool. If you were to dye your hair any other colour, what colour would it be? I'd probably honestly go back to pink, but maybe baby pink instead of bright pink. Sometimes I kind of miss the pink hair a little bit. Do you listen to any modern rock or metal bands like Epica, Within Temptation, Evanescence, etc.? Well, I mean, I like this sort of music enough, but I don't like listen to it actively. But I've been listening to Static X most of today. It's not really the same thing, but it is a band I love. What colour will your wedding dress be when you get married? You know, I think it would surprise people more if I turned up in a white dress. I considered like a dark ivory white. I haven't really made a solid decision yet, but let's be honest, it's probably going to be black. I just feel like, obviously I want a dress that I'm really going to love, and if possible, something I can wear like parts of again, because it just seems a little bit wasteful to wear it only once. What do you do for a living? I build shop displays. Terribly exciting stuff, and sometimes I work on film sets as an art director or production designer. When are you and Mr. Owl tying the knot? Hopefully early next year. It was supposed to be next month, which obviously it's not, and I'm really disappointed. I can't actually make an official date until we can afford to pay for it. Weddings are really, really expensive, and yeah. Any advice for first-time goth club goers? Rock up. Be fancy, stand up straight, talk to people, dance, have fun, socialise. Just like going to any other kind of club, really, isn't it? Except, more sophisticated. Ever thought of going to Bats Day at Disneyland? I want to go to Bats Day so badly. So badly! Maybe one of these days I'll get to the States and I can go, because you have no idea how much fun that sounds. Do you smoke? No, I don't. Definitely not. I never have, and I never will. Please don't be offended, but what is your real name? Well, it's not a very well-kept secret. But there's a fairly abstruse clue to my real name and my online name, Black Friday. Some of you have already guessed it, figured it out. Like, it's not it's not like a secret. I just don't really want everyone to know, and it's a weird name too. Most people don't pronounce it right or spell it funny or whatever. What are some completely ungoth things you love or do? Yeah, I guess I covered that in my last video, so if you haven't seen that already. Wait, there's me shaming myself. What makeup do you use to contour? I mix a cheap cocoa coloured powder with a bit of black eyeshadow on a brush. I kind of squeeze the brush and do that. Your all-time favourite TV show? I never get sick of watching Blackadder. And your biggest goth peeve? I know there are a few, but like I can't think of anything right now. I'm sorry. You had to live in a new country, which one would you pick and why? I'd go back to live in Scotland again. I loved it there. That felt like home, really, more than anywhere ever has. Oh, or maybe I'd go to Japan or France to get a full grip on the language. You've said you have Lolita dresses. Do you still wear them? And have you ever been a full-out Lolita? Well, I sold most of my Lolita dresses, but I still have a few, which I wear sometimes. I wore one this last weekend. I don't think I've ever gone full Lolita. I mostly use it as an avenue to get away with wearing historical fashions. Jelly beans or nerds? Jelly beans. No contest. Anyone who knows me well knows that my love can be bought with those Jelly Belly jelly beans. They are by far my favourite sweet of all time. What do you do on Halloween? Anything I can find to do. Usually just dress up scary, but not necessarily as anything. I'll go to a party, I'll drink, I'll tell scary stories to people. Just, whatever happens to be on. A favourite horror or gothic movies? I love the modern Wolfman film. Does that count? It's just a very beautiful movie. When is the wedding? Where and what are your ideas for it? Oh yeah, like I said, it was supposed to be next month, but we're still miles away from affording it. I'm hoping early next year at Wellington's oldest church. It's beautiful inside. There'll be a lot of black, bats, scary organ music, coffins, skeletons, and you get the drift. When I was small, I really wanted my wedding to be like the one in the Addams Family Values. I'm going to try and get the same song played on the organ as in that film. I haven't found a video as to where you got your accent. I know you're from New Zealand, but it sounds like a cross between Australian and British. Well, a cross between Australian and British sounds like a fairly apt description of a New Zealand accent, actually. I've got a posh version of the New Zealand accent, apparently. I don't know. I went to a fancy school. I had elocution lessons. I know I don't really sound like a typical Kiwi, but that's okay with me. People have been asking me all my life where I'm from, so I don't know. I mean, I'm not the only one. I've encountered plenty of other people who have the same sort of posh-ish Kiwi accent as I do. What is your favourite Disney movie? Fantasia. I watched it over and over and over and over again as a child, and I absolutely adored the Night on Bald Mountain scene. If you could sleep with one celebrity without it being considered cheating, obviously, who would it be? How about just hold hands rather than sleep with? I don't really have those sorts of fantasies. I don't know. I'd hold hands with vampire Michael Sheen. Genuinely the only good thing about Twilight. What advice do you have for younger or any age goths, specifically in New Zealand? Honestly, I think a good thing to do is to join the NZ Goth Facebook group. It's a really good way to find out about upcoming events and stuff, and it's just like a nice social group anyway. I'm 45. What do you think is too old to become a goth? I've always been fascinated by the lifestyle, but not brave enough to make the change. No age is too old. Never. No age. I have a few goth friends who are over 50, and I love seeing goths floating around who are over 60 or 70. I love those people. You are never too old. Ever. Do it. Go for it. Do it. What are your thoughts or experiences with Native Americans or other Aboriginal people? Well, I've never experienced Native Americans, but I'd like to. I like learning about other cultures. Otherwise, all I'm familiar with are the New Zealand Maori. There are no Maori in my family, so I've never been involved with their cultural stuff, really. I mean, I know a few words, but what are your opinions on subgenres of goth, such as cyber goth and pastel goth? I think they're all distinctive and interesting in their own way. The thing about the community here where I am is it's so small that alternative people of all kinds hang out with each other, which is nice. What hobbies do you have and what things do you like to do in your spare time? I make arts and crafts, I play piano, I play board games. Bit lame, really. I feel like I don't really have that much spare time, to be honest, How was high school for you? Horrifying. Have you any plans to come back to the UK, and if so, where would you like to visit? Give me a plane ticket and I will be there tomorrow. I want to go back so badly. I'd meet up with all my online friends everywhere that they are. I'd like to see more of England and go back to my other home, Edinburgh. Would you ever do an apartment tour? Yep, I'm going to. I've been planning to for a while. I've been waiting for a day where like my whole apartment is tidy at once, and that day has yet to come. If you couldn't wear black, what colour would you wear most? Probably pink or red. Who are your favourite YouTubers? Apart from my fellow alternative YouTubers, I like, you know, Jenna Marbles, Ryan Heger, Gigi Gorgeous, Michael James. I guess there are a lot of people for me still to discover yet. What is your favourite Halloween related memory? Probably the Halloween I spent in Scotland at the tour company, where I got to scare literally thousands of people in one night just by being myself. Lurking around corners, chasing people with a meat axe. That sort of thing. Are you satisfied about the current goth subculture we have today? Anything that you don't like about it trending? Well, I think Gothic has become like a loose fashion term. I think the current goth trend, like fashion trend, will pass. And grunge too. And the same thing happened to punk already. People and celebrities were dressing punk, which, you know, not even. As for the actual subculture, I guess it's different in every part of the world, so I couldn't really make a judgment on that. How do you feel about terms like pastel goth? I feel that pastel goth sounds like an oxymoron, doesn't it? Is there a big goth scene where you are? Any goth clubs that you like to go to? There are no goth clubs in New Zealand at all. But there are events and parties sometimes. We throw quite a few parties here in our house the Belfry. The scene is pretty small, and like if you see someone around that you don't recognise, it's kind of surprising. What are some of your favourite books? I love the first two Gormenghast books, not the third one, just the first two, and anything written by P.G. Wodehouse, Douglas Adams, a few from Neil Gaiman. I love Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. Favourite way to pamper yourself? I like candlelit bubble baths and massages. I love massage. Gross, right? What's your favourite Johnny Depp movie? Definitely Sweeney Todd or Sleepy Hollow. They're actually my two favourite movies in general. Ever carved a pumpkin? Even though we have savoury pumpkins all year round here in New Zealand, we don't actually have the carvable kind. But I did carve one in Scotland. This is it. It spent its Halloween in haunted underground vaults. I was surprised by how soft and easy they were to carve. I mean, ours are really firm. That's why I usually can't be bothered cooking them, because they're really hard. Who do you think is the most attractive person on the planet? Mr. Owl, obviously. Bam! How do you deal with snarey comments? I just ignore them or respond with like, okay. Depends on who's making the comment, really. Or, you know, I might say like, oh nice, I haven't heard that one for at least 20 minutes. Besides bands, do you have any other influences on your style? Oh yeah. I suppose it's still bands, but Visual K, Victorian mourning is a big influence on me. And late 80s fashion, a little bit. No offence, but are your boobs real? Yes, they're just kind of big. A double G or an H, depending on the brand. I have wide shoulders, so I'm kind of proportionate. But mostly it just makes bra shopping a disappointing and expensive experience. And I have a sore back and shoulders all the time. What's your opinion on Slipknot's music and the band themselves? I've never been into them. Got on them for establishing such a big following. Cool gimmick, I guess. And what was the first real gothic item you got growing up? I remember my aunt winning a t-shirt at a school fair, and she hated it. It was black with realistic skulls on it. I liked it, so she gave it to me. And it was enormous, so I used to wear it as a nightie. I think the last time I found it in a drawer, it was like, it's so small. Well, that's the end of all the questions. Thank you guys very much for sending those to me. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I guess I'll do another one of these in the nearish future. I don't know. Next time. Thank you very much for watching. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe to my channel. I put out at least 2 videos every week. Take care of yourselves, be nice to each other, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.